Hi friends, this is Muhammad and welcome back again to the 10th programming in C language tutorials. In this session, we shall discuss about functions. A function is a subprogram of one or more set of statements that to be performed in a special task when it is called. It is called as a function. Whenever there is a need of set of statements to be executed, we simply call a function to execute. Every C program is a combination of one or more functions. We all know that the starting point of the C program is the main function. In every program, it should contain main function. Without main function, it will not execute and it will display the error. So, the main function itself is a function. So, the entire C program itself consists of a function. In order to reduce the problem into a sub-problem, we can solve with the help of other functions. Now we can see the example of the functions. In the main function, I am calling to the other function, that is my function. Firstly, it will call to the my function and it will display the printf statement in the my function, that is this is first printed statement, and it will return to the main function and it will execute the second printf statement, that is this is second printed statement. So this is the example of function. Function can contain with or without argument. Suppose, for example, you can see in the example, first example is my function simply open bracket and close bracket. With empty bracket is called as a without argument, and with inside some value, if it contains some value inside the bracket, then it is called a function with the arguments. Basically, there are two types of function. One is library function and other one is user defined function. In the library function, it is a predefined function. It already contains some set of statements to execute. We can simply call to the function and it will automatically execute. But in the user defined function, we want to give the set of statement in a function and then afterwards we can call to the function to execute. Now, what is the use of functions? Writing the function avoid rewriting the same code over and over. Hence, program gets shorter and clearer. If we do not use a function in our program, it will go longer and it will contain same coding one after another. To avoid this, we can use a function. If you use a function, it will become more easier to write the program and it will become easier to identify the errors. Now there are two different kinds of calling the functions. One is calling by the value and another one is calling by the reference. Let us we can see first calling by the value. A function which passes the value of a variable to the required function is called as a caller function. If a function which calls to the required function with the value, then it is called as a caller function, and a function which receives from the called function from the caller function is called as a called function. Such type of caller and called function with the values is called calling by value. In the calling by value function, the actual argument will send the copy of the values to the formal arguments. With this method, the changes made to the formal argument, but it has no effect to the values of actual arguments in the calling function. Let us we can see the example of the calling by value function. This is calling by the value function. Calling by the value. Hash include standard input output dot h hash include on input output dot h. Right. Now main function, open the bracket. I am declaring the two variables, that is one is a. I will give the value for a variable is 20 and another one b contains the value 10. Now I am calling the function called swap. In the swap, I simply send the value of A and B. Now we print here the value of A and B is, that is percentage A and percentage B. One is for A and another one is for one is for A and another one is for B. Now I will end the main function and I am writing the required function int x comma y. Next, now I am declaring the another variable called t and I will simply swap the values to one another, that is x equal to t, next y equal to x, next y equal to t. Now I am printing the value in here. The value of x and y is percentage t and percentage t. X comma y. Right. This is the calling by value function. Firstly, it will pass the value of A and B to the required function, that is swap function, and it will exchange the value of A to x and B to y, and then now x equal to t. Now t value become x, that means t value become 20, and y equal to x, that means it will swap the value, not 10 equal to 20. Now y equal to t, that means now y value become 10. So it will print the value of x and y, and then it will return to the main statement, and then afterwards it will print the statement, that is the value of A and B is the actual value 20 and 10. Let us see manually output. First it will print the second statement, the value of x and y is, it will swapped, so x value become 10 and y value become 20. Now it will return to the main function and it will print the second statement, that is the value of A and B is, A value is 20 and B value is 10. This is the calling by value function. Now let us, we can see this is the example of the calling by value function. Now let us, we can see the calling by reference function. A function which passes the address of a variable to the required function is called as a caller function. In the previous example, we call by the value. Now it will call by the address. So a function which calls to the required function with the address is called as a caller function, and a function which receives the address of a variable from the caller function is known as called function. Such type of function is called as calling by reference. The address of the actual argument in the calling function are copied to the formal argument, and this means that using this address we would have an access to the actual parameters, and hence we would be able to manipulate them. Let us, we can see the example clearly to understand the calling by reference function. This is calling by reference. Include standard input output package. on input output dot h. Now main int a equal to 20 and b equal to 10. Now I will call the function with the address. So the ampersand indicates the address of the variable, address of a and address of b. Now I will print the value of a and b. The value of a and b is percentage a and percentage b. A, B. Swap int pointer x, int pointer y. Int, 2 pointer x equal to t. Next, pointer y equal to pointer x. No, pointer y equal to t. So this is the calling by reference function. First, this is the actual parameter and this is the formal parameter. So it will send the value along with the address in the calling by reference function, and it will swap the original value of the variables. It will swap and it will return to the main function and it will print the swapped value, not a actual value. Previously we have seen that the value of a and b remains same, but in the calling by reference function the value will be changes. So this is called as a calling by reference function. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Hope you